Hi, everybody. Welcome to Campus to Contracts and Draft Day Dilemmas. Mason, what is the biggest draft day dilemma players feel post-draft day?
I would say post-draft day, the biggest dilemma by far is not getting drafted or not even getting signed. That is probably one of the worst things a player can go through.
And as their agent, who has to talk through this with their entire team of people, what's that experience like?
Well, emotions are definitely high. Sometimes you get players who tend to blame the agent for not getting them drafted or signed. And, sometimes the player can understand, hey, there were just other guys that teams felt that they wanted. Well, really, honestly, the draft day dilemma starts even before the draft when you start getting a lot of attention, a lot of notice, a lot of text messages from teams of guys that could be drafted or possibly going to be drafted. And, it kind of gets into their head. A lot of players think, depending on the different press clippings that they see, if they're going to be a first day, second day, third day pick, sometimes not even at all. And when you get that disappointment of not ever getting that call or getting that contract sent over, it's a very big problem.
And with that heightened emotion, with the whole team, family, and everybody wanting this, because again, as a player, this is not what you wanted to hear. You're playing college, you're elite, everybody thinks that you're ready to go, you have people in your ear. What has been the biggest course or U-turn? Because obviously as an agent, you can't control the team that's specifically around this player. What are some of those biggest hurdles that you're seeing when you have to communicate this to the team? Because to your point, it is easy to blame the agent. It is easy to blame other people on the outside. It's never easy to just look inside and say, hey, maybe I made a bad call. Maybe coming out wasn't the right thing for me or my family.
Yeah, some players do have the option of staying. They come out early. And then some players, they didn't have any college eligibility left, so they had no choice. So when you get past that third day and the day after that third day of the NFL draft is when players are kind of, hey, so what do we do now? Am I going to get signed? What are my options? Some guys have options to go sign as an undrafted free agent for a couple teams. Some have no options at all. And sometimes the agent is calling scouts, managers, general managers to see, hey, how much space do you guys have on your training camp roster? This player is definitely going to fit in nice with you guys. I think you guys should at least invite him out to rookie minicamp.
So this is in all reality where the agent really comes in and starts really burning the phone and trying to find the right pieces for the right teams, because again, there are teams that are going to have a need for those positions. And now you can shop based on that reality, and you're hoping to sell the GM on your player. And those conversations have got to be fast because everyone's doing that, right? It's not just you.
Exactly. And that's probably one of the things that I would say players and a lot of fans probably don't understand when they're following their favorite college player is that there are agents and there are hundreds of players that are fighting for the same positions throughout that draft class. So when a player is not getting drafted or picked up immediately, their agents are definitely on the phone. It's a crazy 24, 48 hours of them trying to get those remaining players that they have on their signing class onto these teams, trying to get them rookie minicamp invites. So as soon as they get them signed to rookie minicamp invites, you can live to fight another day. You've got them on that minicamp roster, and your player gets a chance to make the training camp roster.
Is this really where relationships are part of that as well? Like if you have a good relationship with the GM, or you have that track record where they know that they can trust you, you're not going to feed them a line and say, oh yeah, this guy's going to be great. They actually know you're being honest about what you're seeing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is your track record definitely comes from the past, the players that you've represented before, especially in situations like this. Like, hey, I've given you guys that, you didn't necessarily draft, that you guys signed to rookie minicamp and you ended up making your 53-man roster, your practice squad. I've sent you guys from developmental leagues that you took to training camp that ended up making the team or your practice squad, cases like that. So when you have an agent who has brought talent to that organization, or multiple organizations for that matter, that weren't necessarily drafted and they still made the team, that definitely factors into, hey, this agent has definitely brought talented players that we missed or that we didn't draft, and they've made this team before, or then made a team before. We should probably trust this agent because he's been right before.
And I think this is where an agent is able to look at this in the different layers and see not only talent, but also see contracts, also see spots, and then being able to piece all of that together. This is a fast-moving object. Having somebody who has the talent, the versatility to see these strengths, to be able to assess these things quickly and move along is really what you want in your corner at this point. Now, no one can predict this. Like, none of these players are like, ooh, if I don't get drafted, thank God I have this great agent with me. I mean, but this is where you really do, I mean, for lack of a better term, earn every single cent that you would ever get. This is where you really are burning through lots of hours to try to get get them to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. It is a scramble to get your player on a squad, on a team. Sometimes you can be very methodical about it, and you can maneuver well and get a player on a team where you think his skill set would fit best and make that team. In other cases, you're out of time. Take whatever offer you can get. The player can't choose. You can't choose. If a team is ready to take them, go for it.
Is the worst scenario in this is when they're calling you a lot to try to get updates and schedules and timelines, and they're interrupting what you're trying to work on the back end? Because I can imagine there's only so many phones, there's only so much time you have. And if I'm calling you saying, what's the status, which is, again, as a player, I would be very nervous about. I really want to know the status, but you got to work.
Well, actually, the worst part for me is receiving screenshots from players that I represent of other players getting signed that my players think that they are better than. Whether they're right about that or not, the point is that the team chose that player. I can't make the decisions for the team. So what I try to tell my players is that no matter what you see during the draft, after the draft, in free agency, don't look at other players' situation and think that's a reflection of your skill level, of your talent. There's many reasons why GMs make decisions on other players over certain players. Some of them have to do with off-the-field issues. Some of them have to do with them knowing the player or scouting him personally at another organization, or any type of history that GM may have with that player. Sometimes they just like that the player may be a little taller or a little faster. Something so small like that. So I try to remind my players that, hey, you looking at the careers of other players in your draft class or your other free agents or guys that you think that you're better than is not going to help your situation. And if anything, it just makes your emotions more unstable. You got to be calm, cool, collected through the process the whole time. You can't worry. You can only just keep moving forward.
And does it help at all if the GM has a relationship with an agency or an agent where they know they can sign them pretty quick? Or is that just pretty much universal across the board because everything's set?
Well, when it comes to draft picks, I mean, that's pretty much set. But when we're talking about, your worst dilemma, not getting drafted, not getting signed right away, yeah, the GM and the relationship with the agent is definitely going to matter. So, like I said earlier, as long as that agent has been proven to bring good talent into the door, into the organization, he's probably going to have a couple of organizations that he likes to work with more than others, that he can continue to reliably bring players to, and they will trust his word because they've already used players with him prior. So I myself in my young career have already built relationships with general managers in certain leagues. So I know who I can go to and what kind of players that I have and if they would fit that mold. And, it's definitely a discretional piece for me to choose which players I present to these GMs or to these coaches depending on their needs, right? So I have good relationships. I try to have good relationships with all the general managers and assistant general managers in spring football, in the CFL, and whatever leagues around the world too, so that I can bring players up to those teams.
And for those that, are just now diving into this, when you look at all of the information, you're talking about the leagues here in North America, you're talking about the European, you're talking about overseas in Japan. You have to be in the know on so many things in so many areas and tracking things to see what's the best maneuverable. The next big point is going to be for this player to make an impact, to be able to do and keep playing the sport. So having an agent that understands all that, these are really, really deep layers that are underneath what people don't even see. And a lot of times no one will ever say, well, this agent really helped me get from being undrafted or being unseen to now being seen by going through this unconventional way. Because to your point, there's a lot of different ways to get there. It depends on your heart, depends on your effort, depends on your skill. But you need to have an agent that can see that pathway for you and really be able to listen to them and not, be upset or just go with emotion.
Yeah, most definitely. There's many ways to get to the NFL. Believe me, that's my goal for every single one of my players, to get them to the NFL. Sometimes it's just not the direct path that's the best path for them. And understanding the rules as an agent, understanding the league calendars for the different leagues is definitely the biggest advantage that any agent that can have when it comes to signing players that may not be drafted all the time or may not be signed all the time. Because those are ways, and if you maneuver it correctly, you can set them up for an easier path going into the NFL. Now, sometimes the player might end up playing a lot of football within one calendar year. Other times the player might be healthy enough to just go right into camp and be completely ready to go by the time training camp starts.
And that's why, folks, you need to have the right agent in your corner. It's why these stressful situations, having someone who's navigated these waters, knows different paths, can really calmly speak to you about these paths either before the draft and post-draft. You won't be struggling with these dilemmas. And those are just some of the draft day dilemmas. It gets more and more difficult as that time goes on. So thank you, Mason, for sharing us some of your draft day dilemmas and what keeps you up way late at night and doesn't let you sleep at all. So appreciate the insight. Appreciate the honesty, and again, until next time, this is Campus to Contracts. Thanks for sticking with us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, and we look forward next time showing you some of the things that the agency and Mason is able to see.